300 million yen stolen from a Japanese bank. Who do you think did it?
I don't know.
The obvious answer for many would be to point to a group like the Yakuza, a large, dangerous, transnational crime syndicate with the capability of stealing this much money from a highly secure Japanese bank in the streets of Tokyo. But as we've learned throughout this season, some of the most daring heists have been performed by some of the most surprising people. I'm Jake Sternall, and in today's episode of Laughs from the Past, we'll tell the story of the notorious 300 million yen heist. Although you might not have heard of it, this robbery lives on in the imagination of Japanese people everywhere, as the mysterious man on the motorcycle responsible for it has never been plausibly identified. So without further ado, IQ! That means let's go, in Japanese according to Google Translate.
Hello and welcome to Laughs from the Past. It's season 9. It's all about heists. We have been doing a lot of heist talk lately. I think we missed an episode or two. Our apologies. Our main focus is the baseball season, which is going crazy. But we do have an episode today written by our very own Noah Prince. The 300 million yen robbery. The person responsible has never been identified, which is interesting, Jake, because on all of these, we've been saying, well, we know the story because the guy got caught.
Right.
So how much of this story do we know?
Yeah.
How much is fable?
Are we getting options at the end? Like, do we have a list of 5
Solve
people who have believed to been do it? Believed to been do it, he says. And yeah, we are recording this on the baseball trade deadline, so if any news breaks on the $300 million yen robbery from 1968 between now and when this drops, sorry. If they find the motorcyclist, sorry.
I can't believe that this lives on in the imagination of Japanese people everywhere. It's a big story.
Everywhere.
All right. In Japan, nearly all companies award bonuses to employees on a twice-yearly basis. Every 6 months, you get a bonus.
Sure.
One bonus comes in the summer, around June or July, and another in the winter, near the end of the year. It's a tradition that started in Japan's Edo era. Shopkeepers gave employees a summer bonus so they could return home for the Bond Festival and buy nice clothes. The winter bonus was a reward for that year's hard work. Adds up.
Sure.
Adds up.
I'm in.
You ever get a nice bonus?
Nice is a loose term. Bonus.
My first job, which was a contractor job, I got an envelope, said Merry Christmas with a bonus. So I was expecting to be excited. It was $20.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's tough.
No need.
A little bonus for you, my
Don't
friend.
even give me that.
I think the best was I started working at a new job, and there's electrical supplies. I mean, I was just getting drunk, coming hungover. But I did some project, and I didn't know they had a promotion. Whoever sold a certain wire nut the most got a $500 gift card or something. So I got it. And I was like, what? Nobody else sold. I was involved in a project that, they easily used the most of these specific wire nut.
Oh, so you were set up for success.
So, yeah, it wasn't like I beat anyone. I very much stumbled into it, but that was pretty nice.
Did other people know?
I don't think so, no.
I think they had an extra $500.
Someone might have known.
They just gave you $500, which is nice.
Which is nice either way.
Maybe this will motivate them.
Nope.
On December 10th, 1968, in the city of Fuchu in the Tokyo district, a Nissan Cedric sedan carrying 294,307,500 yen.
Yes.
I don't know.
Perfect.
Which was intended to pay the year-end bonuses of employees at Toshiba, departed Japan Trust Bank for Toshiba. Adjusting for inflation, at today's rate, this amounts to around 30 billion yen, or about $26 million. Okay, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I didn't know the conversion rate.
Serious quiche.
At the time, sending such large sums in cash by car as opposed to bank transfer was considered routine. Despite this, the car ride was anything but routine. Just 4 days ago, on December 6th, an anonymous caller threatened the manager of Japan Trust Bank. The anonymous messenger threatened to blow up the bank if the manager didn't hand 3 million yen to a female employee. The employee would then deposit the sum at a designated location. Needless to say, the bank didn't respond to the demand. Instead, the Fuchu police office sent around 50 officers to crawl the area for clues and protect bank personnel.
Okay.
All right, so we have a bank threat 4 days before the heist. There's a bank threat. Anonymous bank threat, which I don't know if the threat turned out to be false, but nonetheless, the employees driving the $26 million through the streets of Fuchu in an unsecure car felt rather tense.
Okay, so they thought... So is this necessarily related, or they just assumed it was related?
I don't... Maybe there's... I don't know. That seems like it could have been not related, but
right.
I think it was a reminder people blow up things to get money, and we're driving a car full of money.
Sure.
It's just a little scary there.
Okay.
We have a picture of the car used to transport the money. I mean,
Doesn't seem big enough. Where are you putting all the money?
That is not an armored Banks truck.
It's like a stylish
sedan.
Traveling car.
Looks like a 1960s, like you see a guy driving that in a movie, and he's living large montage.
Yeah.
The first sign something was amiss was when a police bike lit its lights up from behind, signaling the car to pull over. Man, you get pulled over by a bike?
I mean, what are
That's
we
in
doing?
front of you? Go around that guy.
You're transporting a ton of money, and you think you're just getting casually pulled over by a copper? How are the cops not informed? It's really dumb.
Should have people.
It's really dumb.
And it's like it says bike cop. I'm guessing motorcycle. Went in front of them, slowed down to a slow, and
was the idea that this car was supposed to be incognito?
I don't know.
Because it doesn't. I don't know. Bad plan.
How do they have that much money in that car?
How do you have that much money in that car and not pay 4 cops $20 an hour?
Yeah.
In 1968.
What are the chances that perhaps the most valuable car in the roads that day would just happen to get pulled over? No, slim.
Yeah.
It would end up being anything but a coincidence. What happened next took all of 3 minutes. The driver nervously rolled down his window and asked the officer, "What's wrong?"
"What's wrong, officer?"
"There's been an explosion at the bank you're going to," the officer said urgently. "We have information that someone may have planted dynamite on this car too. Let me investigate now." So the call...
That's pretty good.
The call beforehand... Wow, I'm
into
it.
this.
I like that. The bank employees, remembering the threat from 4 days ago, didn't take any chances. They hurriedly let the officer access the vehicle. He peered under the car. Out of the employee's view, he lit a road flare and screamed, "It's gonna blow! Hurry, run!"
That's good.
The employees ran from the smoking vehicle to a safe distance. The officer never followed. In the ensuing panic, the officer drove off with the car, disappearing with 300 million yen. The thief and the money would never be seen again.
Took the whole damn car, man.
It's something straight out of a comedy movie, but it worked perfectly. It's like when Tommy Boy gets pulled over and he's got bees in the car. They're everywhere.
I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect execution.
Planted the seed 4 days earlier.
Yeah.
People blow shit up. Wow, that's really good.
No cell phones or anything like that. So you're not like, what? I think I would have been notified of that.
It's really good.
So, yeah, no, really well executed plan so far.
Let's get to the investigation. At first, the bank employees believed they had been saved by the officer's courageous actions. They thought he had driven off to prevent the exploding car from injuring nearby civilians or damaging buildings.
Optimistic.
That is, until they saw the extinguished road flare and took a closer look at the bike. On closer inspection, it clearly wasn't an official police vehicle. It only took a minute for the driver to realize that there was no bomb. The police motorcycle was a fake. They had been fooled.
They'd been fooled. Yeah, we know.
We have a picture of the abandoned fake police motorcycle at the crime scene.
It's got to be a bad feeling.
Yeah.
It's a bad feeling.
Because now people are going to think you're in on it.
Yeah. You're either in on it or you're
so
as bad at your job as you can be.
In their defense,
It's pretty good.
they're like, we're just bank workers. Like, we shouldn't have been in charge of all this money.
Why was there no escort? Why don't we have an armored vehicle?
Yeah.
Why are we doing it in this car?
A massive investigation followed. Police interviewed eyewitnesses and released a composite photo to the public. They conducted a rolling investigation of nearby apartments occupied by college students. Officers went door to door to every apartment and interrogated every resident. Some early clues looked promising. The December 6th letter echoed a series of incidents earlier in the year in the Tama area. Between April and August of 1968, someone sent... Jeez, getting a lot of calls. Between April and August of 1968, someone sent 9 threats and extortion attempts to the Tama Agricultural Co-op. Some letters demanded money, while others threatened acts of arson and bombing against the co-op. A handwriting analysis of these letters against the letter sent to the Japan Trust Bank confirmed a match. In other words, the Tama Co-op extortion letters, the Japan Sun Trust extortion incident, and the 300 million yen were all linked. If it's just handwriting, that's pretty loose linked. I don't think they even do that anymore.
I still think they do. I think the handwriting stuff's pretty legit.
Is it?
I think that stuff holds up in like the courts and stuff. So hey, who knows there? But I don't know. I like this story that this person had been looking for the right extortion of sorts, and they finally found it.
Yeah. I mean, I like my version of this being a one-time job instead of a guy that did it a bunch is more fun.
Right.
Handwriting analysis is not accepted as real science because there's evidence against it. I feel like we did that in the Rosenthals, the case against the Red Scare. They said that they got the death penalty for being
I think it's
communist.
not, but it also is not scientific evidence.
Yes,
But
it's
you
not,
can also sway a courtroom pretty easily with it.
Yeah. Oh, you can sway a courtroom easily. You just, put on a cold glove. So they think they're all linked. The criminal left plenty of physical evidence in his wake. This included the Yamaha bike he was riding, a hunting hat, the road flare, and a magnet. Police also determined from saliva on the postage stamps on the letters that their suspect's blood type was B.
Huge.
Big news.
Basically caught the guy.
Or
girl.
I mean, what if he had someone else lick it?
Yeah. I mean, that's actually really smart. Add that to my next crime.
Okay. Like you can't.
This part I'm very interested in because if you're normally thinking of a crime scene, it's normally one of the rules is no evidence.
Yeah.
Because they're going to link it somehow. This plan had some
Evidence.
very clear evidence.
Despite such tantalizing hints, however, the investigation never produced a convicting culprit. In the ensuing 7 years, the suspect list would grow to 110,000 people. No suspects then. You can't have 110,000 suspects.
Yeah.
Imagine if you brought that to your police chief. Well, we've narrowed it down to 110,000.
We think... Yeah, what's that mean?
They narrowed it down to like men with type B blood?
Yeah, basically.
In the age group?
That's what we've got.
Okay.
Men 18 to 50.
Type B blood.
Type B blood.
That live in this area.
That live in this continent.
The investigation would involve 170,000 police officers, almost as many as suspects, with the total cost of the investigation totaling 900 million yen. So now the whole Japan is down.
God.
How much? 100 or 1,000 yen?
You know I'm a big net guy. I mean, just instead of doing this investigation,
let him keep the money.
Give the 300 million yen. I just saved the country 600 million yen.
Well, they spent 900 million yen on the investigation.
Right.
300 got stolen.
Right.
And they probably still gave the bonuses.
That's what I'm saying. Like, put instead of that $900 million to the investigation, just replace the $300 million of bonuses.
Yeah, because we're looking at
Saved you
15,000 million yen.
Sure.
Damn. On December 10th, 1975, the 7-year statute of limitations for bringing charges lapsed. The perpetrator, whoever it was, got away scot-free.
Statute of limitations still cracks me up.
7-year statute of limitations is really small.
It almost can make a crime worthwhile.
I mean, this dude, all he had to do was go in hiding for 7 years.
Like if you
he
told
has
me
the money
if
now?
you told me there was a 7-year statute of limitations, and I knew there was this guy that totes $100 million in cash every week, but he stops to see his mistress, and like he leaves the keys in the truck. Like, I would think if there's a plan.
7
if the
years
money
is
went to like bad people, like the bad guys,
7 years is nothing.
I'm basically Robin Hood at that point.
Man. That's crazy. The incident is officially called the 300 million yen pillory. However, this implies a level of violence. What's stunning about the incident is that the crime itself was victimless.
Perfect.
Well, those people got their manhood ruined a little bit and their
Yeah.
sense of self.
Career.
No one at the scene was harmed. Toshiba's losses were covered by insurance, and its employees received the end-of-year bonuses they were promised.
Inside job.
For such a large amount of money, there was relatively little outcry about needing to recover it.
It's an inside job by Toshiba, and that's the most obvious.
The perfect thief? ? This begs the question, how well planned was this heist? From the outside, it seemed this was very well done. However, upon closer inspection, much of this may have been the work of an amateur, a fortunate idiot.
Let those words resound.
I agree with that.
A fortunate idiot.
That's the best thing to be.
That's the goal.
First, the fake police motorcycle had dragged a rain canopy loosely attached to the back seat.
Excuse me?
What? Okay. For reference, this would be like driving with the trunk of your car open. Needlessly dangerous and attention-calling. Had a car run over the tarp while the perpetrator was driving, he would have been seriously injured. No legitimate thief with a well-thought-out plan would allow this to happen. I don't even know what that... Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he's like walking with toilet paper stuck to your foot. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is... Okay. I need more information.
Second, many initially thought the culprit chose to commit the crime behind Fuchu prison because the area was relatively abandoned. This meant fewer witnesses. However, there were quite a number of witnesses who saw the incident. That includes several guards in the prison tower. So if the perpetrator chose the location to avoid detection, he chose poorly.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but those guys in the tower would just say, yeah, cops stopped him and then drove away.
I mean, the counter to this is, were there better places to do it? Like, they just said this is a kind of relatively abandoned. Was the rest of the drive not relatively abandoned? This seems like a good spot to do it. It worked.
It worked.
Yeah,
Why are we?
okay,
why
that's out.
Why are we coming at this guy?
Yeah, that's out.
Third, many thought that the call to the Japan Trust Bank 4 days earlier, rather than being a clever setup for the crime on the 10th, may simply have been an extortion attempt that failed. The perpetrator of the 300 million yen theft may well have simply taken advantage of the fact that the bank employees were already on edge. I mean, we're just discrediting to discredit.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, we're taking jabs at the successful crime for no reason.
Well, he was pretty dumb, though. I know what they're doing. They're nagging this dude to come out of hiding. If they write enough articles saying he was just a dumb idiot that got lucky, they think that's going to make him come out and like, actually, I planned the whole thing.
I mean, if you don't think... Because initially, we came into the bomb thing very skeptical. Mm-hmm. Like, why is this even attached? Then once you hear the story, 100%.
Yeah.
Although I do like an idiot savant that was like, I don't know, I'm kind of down on my luck.
We've done a lot of heists. I don't think this is the most sophisticated heist going.
And maybe that's the thing.
but it works.
Maybe you don't need a sophisticated heist.
The Blue Jays just acquired Robbie Ray.
It happened. Welcome to Laughs from the Past.
Welcome to Laughs from the Past. All right. So other suspect. All right. They say, furthermore, the plethora of physical clues left at the scene meant that the thief was likely not a pro. Despite all of this, though, there was some evidence. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's not a pro.
Sure.
But he made a plan and it worked.
What is a pro thief? Like, that pisses me off every time it comes up in these
Like,
stories.
some of the bank heists we did, they were really thought out. They had guys for everything. Like, this was amateurish, just one dude, a very simple plan, but it worked.
What's even being a pro? Like, if you get caught, you're not a pro?
This is the most pro guy we've done on the whole season.
This guy's in the Hall of Fame.
At him and DB Cooper. At that time of the year, many companies were having their end-of-year bonuses transported to target the Toshiba funds. The culprit had to not only know the large amount carried by Toshiba, but that it was also lightly guarded, and also have the reason that due to extremist and left-wing student we're just making excuses for this dude.
Lightly guarded is the red flag there.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, so that's who I need to know. Whose job is it to guard this car? Was it the bank or was it Toshiba? Because whoever it was,
Insurance company? Yeah, I don't know.
they are the ones that robbed this.
Should be the insurance company.
Because it wasn't guarded.
Should be the insurance companies.
How was this guarded?
It wasn't. They had two dummies who were just driving around.
$26 million unguarded.
Seems like a bad plan. Inside job. Under pressure to solve such a high-profile case, police repeatedly quizzed young men with motorcycles living in West Tokyo, but came out empty-handed. Just everyone with a motorcycle.
I mean, you'd look more like a suspect if you sold it.
It's true.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That sucks.
The 19-year-old son of a serving police officer was brought in as a suspect and intensely questioned. A week later, the police found him dead of cyanide poisoning, a suspicious suicide. The father insisted his son was innocent despite the fact that the boy had a background involving activities with local gangsters. His family was eventually dismissed as a suicide and his innocence confirmed post-mortem. Why would you kill yourself if you got away with stealing 300 million yen?
That seems against the point of stealing the money.
Yeah.
IMO.
In December of 1975, the statute of limitations in the case passed without an arrest, meaning the thief would now be able to identify himself without fear of prosecution. No one has come forward. Speculation about his identity continues to this day. Why would you come forward?
I wouldn't. I mean, even if you leave the statute, I mean, they're going to find out a way.
Yeah.
It's the world.
They're going to fuck you over. One of the most convincing suggestions is that he was a police officer or the son of a serving officer, which would explain how he knew about the police procedures. The police procedures just pulling someone over? And how he obtained the uniform. But also how he was able to evade the subsequent search. It was also rumored that it would have had to be someone with inside knowledge of the bank or its procedures for transporting money, the route the car was going to take, and so on. But the police never linked any of the employees with the robbery. After 1988, time had also run out for any civil liabilities, meaning the wrongdoer was now able to freely use a book deal or appear as a guest on television and acknowledge what a genius... That's entrapment.
You're so dumb.
He was, running away with such a heavy plunder. But nobody ever came forth bragging. The thief's identity has remained riddled and perhaps might even be dead after so many years, carrying his secret into the grave. The heist will see its 50th anniversary at the end of 2018. I guess this is an old article. It's an awesome job. I mean, thinking that, you can write a book now. Come out. Yeah, okay.
Most of this article was trying to bait them out, which is hilarious. Yeah, man. I mean, the only part that... Okay, so curiosity comes up throughout this. The heist itself...
Awesome.
Not too sexy.
It's pretty cool.
Like, we can't deep dive into it. Like, hey, I'm 90%. They called in a bomb threat. They tricked the people transporting it, and they took the money.
Oh, my God. It's
Was the car ever found?
They didn't say.
Producers. Interested in that. But yeah, I don't know.
This guy was...
You've got no security around $26 million.
What I don't get is it seems very much like this dude had to be someone with knowledge from the bank because he knew the route they were going to take.
Bank stands out.
He knew the day and the time they were leaving with the money.
So does Toshiba. I mean, you're right on the bank stuff, but also it's not like
I think it was
a detailed plan.
I think it was a cop. That's
Could've
the
been.
only reason, not the only reason, obviously, but that adds up why he would never publicly come out too. Because I was part of the investigation.
Protect
crew.
and serve.
Yeah, I was, because there's, oh, well, you can be arrested for being a bad cop. Well, you know what I mean? That's kind of cool.
I'm curious to obviously the spending, but also like how you pass that down your family lines, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Why don't they mark all these
Like, wow,
bills?
Granddad was pretty rich. How do you get the money? And now we have the money.
Yeah.
I thought he worked at a restaurant.
No. Fell off a truck.
Good job.
That's a cool one. A lot of these heists are really cool. Never come forward. It's a lot of money, dude. Like, what's he doing with it? He's out of Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, he left Japan quickly.
Yes.
I think he hid in Japan. He was a cop that worked. That's what you need to look for. You need to look for a police officer that was worked around this time, right? Maybe worked on the investigation, and then around 10 years afterwards, moved away from Japan to another country. Because you can't do it exactly after the statute of limitations are up, because then they're looking for anyone who leaves.
Yeah.
So a couple years later. So you need to go find a guy who was a police officer in this town at the time. 7 to 10 years later, he moves out of Japan. That's your guy.
I like it.
That's my police work. And that was Laughs from the Past, Season 9, Heists. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Goodbye.